Manchester United used to be the best in the world at spotting young talents, bringing them to the club and turning them into stars. Rooney and Ronaldo were two signings that are supposed to define the legacy for United. And we're all hoping that Rasmus Højlund can follow that example. He's someone who's signed with so much potential, and I think it has to be the start of a new breed of signings. Look, Fergie built title-winning teams around Ronaldo's, around Rooney's, but where's the next one? What I'm going to do in this video is explain some changes that United have made to our academy and first team scouting system that hopefully will help find the new Cristiano Ronaldo. How are we doing, everyone? Sam here, United People's TV. I'm excited to do this video. For me, the best types of signings that United have ever made are those ones like Rooney's and Ronaldo's and maybe your Vidic's and your Evra's, those players that you sign with potential that grow into stars. I think they're the best. United need to make more of them, and we need to get better at spotting those players, and that's why these changes, which I'll explain in this video, are so important. Right, in these last few years, we've actually made some pretty good signings when it comes to lower levels. Alejandro Garnacho being spotted at Atletico Madrid, we know how good a spot that was. Hannibal Mejbri, who's now breaking into the first team, now was signed as a 16-year-old from Monaco. But Man United need to get better at spotting players like Højlund before he costs 70 million. Players like Evan Ferguson before, I have no idea how much he's going to cost this summer. And you look at everything that Benfica have done with all their scouts and all the players that they've sold. This is what United need to get better at. And that's what these changes are supposed to improve. I'm going to run through this article from Laurie Whitwell from The Athletic. I'll leave the link in the description. And look, I think this is a really important, when it comes to academies now, when it comes to academy sales as well, it's going to become a more fundamental part of modern football clubs and how important it is. And I'll explain that in this video. Now, I explained sort of some of these changes last week when I ran through this article in a live show, but there's more information and detail on it now. So let's get into it, okay? Manchester United have decided to make major changes to their scouting setup at both youth and first team level, narrowing the scope of their head of academy of recruitment to concentrate solely on domestic signings and bringing in international youth talent spotters under a senior umbrella. That's just revamping the entire scouting network that Manchester United have. The restructure is intended to provide swifter lines of communication and more accountability in player recommendations. Both aspects, those familiar with United's process, feel should be improved. And yeah, United need to get better at this because you're seeing this. It's hyper competitive now, probably more than it ever has been because of how important it is, as I said, to the balance sheet. Ultimately, I'm not saying it's ultimately just a money situation, but when it comes to making first team signings now, the ability to be able to sell players for profits is directly impacting clubs' abilities to spend because of the balance sheets, because of the restrictions and requirements that are on them now. And United simply haven't been good enough at identifying and spotting players of Ronaldo's, of Rooney quality. And that's what's changing. And a big change here, look, there's a new job role for Dave Harrison, who was former head of academy recruitment. He's now one of the regional heads overseeing scouting for 15 to 20-year-olds. And look, United scouting systems, you know how they work, right? United have split the globe into sections, European Union, Americas, a group of scouts covering each area, reporting into a senior member of the recruitment department. That's kind of basic, right? The club are hiring someone to organise the European operation. When it comes to Dave Harrison, if I'm correct here, Dave Harrison was somebody who, it looked like, I think it was about March time this was. Let me check. I think it was around about March time. Yeah, March. Where Newcastle was sniffing around him, and they have had major restructure to their own youth system. Now, David Harrison, don't be confused, two different people. David Harrison was brought into the club in February as a director of football operations, and what this is here is a massive revamp of our football operations, of our scouting system and setup. Who's being employed, who's doing what, who's responsible. And Dave Harrison was somebody who was directly involved in the likes of Garnacho and spotting him and signing him, in the likes of Hannibal Mejbri and Alvaro Fernandez. Some of our actual real successes from academy level. He has been involved in that. And now Dave Harrison is going to be in a higher position with others feeding into him that information, those signings. Now, the overall idea is to bring youth scouting closer to the first team so United can be faster at identifying and assessing players. And you know that tracker man system that was brought in by Manchester United to hopefully improve the recruitment? It has had its criticisms there. Look, for a failure to act at pivotal moments, there have been allegations of uncertainty over when to go for emerging talents and breakdowns of communication. That sounds very on brand for Manchester United. But Brighton, they've been incredible at this. Exactly what I'm talking about here. Spotting players, having the... Now, it's a little bit different. I know that Brighton and Manchester United, the spotlight and scrutiny is different. So younger players do have a more room to breathe and more room to grow in the first team environment. Sure. But still, man, they are hitting the bullseye. Whether it's Caicedo, whether it's Evan Ferguson, whether it's... there's like 6 or 7 or 8. They've been ridiculously good. And Man United need to have that. And that's the whole concept of doing this. But also on top of that, now I didn't know the information about this, so you might not. I found it interesting. And these are some changes that were brought in to English football in June by the FA, which allows clubs up to 4 wildcard signings. Because as it stands, I don't think clubs are allowed to sign players until they're 16. Is that right? No, is it 18? I'm going to read it here. Brexit means even European players aged 18 and above have to meet Home Office criteria. We know that. They can't definitely get a work permit. Since the summer, clubs can have up to 4 players who do not meet these requirements. They call it wildcard signings. And it's dependent on how many English players feature in the senior squad. And Manchester United, as is written down there, we have the requisite number of English players. Therefore, United feel, well, this is something that we should be taking advantage of, something that we should be making more of. And you've seen whether it's Endrick, Real Madrid have done it with Vinicius Jr. I spoke about this before a couple of weeks ago. Vinicius Jr., Rodrigo, Endrick, and that's where they signed someone else this summer as well. 30, 40 million. I swear even Chelsea signed one as well. Big money for these teenagers, but getting in there early. Starting early, and this is clearly a fundamental weakness that Manchester United have. Other clubs have got the leg up on us, and it also is going to be starting at an even lower level because we're talking here about players, 16, 17. We signed Hannibal when he was 16. I think we signed Garnacho when he was 16. What about younger than that? Because if your academy recruitment system is that good, by the time a player is 16 and everybody starts noticing him, United will already have existing relationships and already know who that player is. And that's why there's more change going on behind the scenes. United's head of academy recruitment is Luke Fedorenko. And I ran through these changes, as I said last week. There's a bit more detail down here. It's all lots of names and lots of different positions, but it's all about bringing in a new system at Manchester United. A new system, of accountability, but also of quality of individual. Because it's all good and well having somebody spot a talent, but if their boss isn't on it, and then they, as I said, they get delayed. The tracker system, we go back here, the tracker man system is delayed, and then other clubs come in, then we've missed the boat and we've missed a trick. And also, it's something that I found quite interesting. I didn't actually know this. A bit more information here on academy recruitment. And previously, there was a rule that limited the signing of any player under the age of 18 to within 90 minutes of a club's training ground. That was scrapped a decade ago. But look, you can see there's different rules on limitations here. But down there, clubs can recruit from anywhere in the UK at 16, which together with the Brexit ban on signings from Europe is leading to big battles across the country for the best players in that age bracket. Now you can see down there, look, United want to be better placed in this competitive market, although they will not sanction salaries above a certain scale. Some highly sought after 17-year-olds have been offered as much as 30 grand per week by other clubs. And you'll remember, maybe you don't, this summer, Harrison Parker, really highly rated centre-back from Manchester United, left Manchester United and went to Man City. So we lost a very good and highly talented young centre-back to City. And as you may have seen there, Manchester United are also doing this. To aid United's ambitions in this area, a new job will be created to lead on negotiations for academy recruits. So, you know how Matt Hargreaves was brought in as the Matt Judge replacement to try and help with negotiations for first-team players. Such is the competitive nature of academy signings now. United are having to bring in a Matt Hargreaves to work specifically on academy recruits, working with families and players between the ages of 11 and 17 and signing those players. Once upon a time, it was Fergie, it was United. We didn't really need that. Players just wanted to come to United. But we've seen with Jude Bellingham, we tried and we failed. We've seen with other players too. We have to get better at that. And this is something that I think is, as I said, a really crucial aspect now of, not that it wasn't crucial before, but because of new restrictions, and you might laugh in the face of FFP, but Cole Palmer is the example here. City sold him to Chelsea for like 40 million. City also got nearly 20 million this summer from sell-on percentages from like Romeo Lavia, and I can't remember another signing that they sold. They sold James Trafford to Burnley for nearly 20 million. Man City have, through their investment in their academy, are turning their academy into something which is now boosting their ability to make first-team signings. They spent a lot this summer, but they sold a lot, and a lot of it came from the academy. So it's not just about, of course it is, it's about signing your Rooneys and your Ronaldos, right? That's what we want. For me, they're the best signings, and that's why I'm doing this video, because I'm genuinely excited about the idea that United are properly revamping that system. That maybe we will be signing more players like Rasmus Højlund, but not when he's costing 70 million, but a year earlier when he cost 20, 30 million. And we crush it. We spot that player early. And that's the concept of what these changes are supposed to enable United to do. And as I said, because now selling an academy player is almost worth double on the balance sheet when it comes to profit and loss and all that boring stuff, it allows clubs to then invest sometimes in those big money signings that you need to make. But look, I'm excited about this. I hope I've explained it to you in a bit more detail. You can let me know what you think in the comments. But yeah, man, you can keep your Di Marias, you can keep your any signings like that, those established Galactico type signings. Now, I want more Rooney, Ronaldo, maybe Højlund type signings. Those players signed with real potential who grow into stars at Man United. That for me is a Man United signing, and that's why I think these changes could be very exciting indeed.